It was the early morning hours of June 18, 2014. A cyclist was riding through a quiet Texas valley, the dawn just beginning to break. As they pedaled, something unusual caught their eye. A bright, unnatural light glowed in the distance, deep within the secluded terrain. Curiosity overriding caution, the cyclist ventured closer. They discovered a car, engulfed in a raging inferno, hidden away in the valley. Immediately, the cyclist knew something was terribly wrong. They quickly called emergency services, reporting the horrifying scene. The fire department arrived as quickly as they could, but the blaze was intense. By the time they managed to extinguish the flames, the car was completely destroyed. The heat had been so extreme that the vehicle's tires had melted, fusing the car to the rocks beneath it. It was a scene of utter devastation. Police officers soon arrived at the remote location, joining the firefighters to examine the wreckage. The air was thick with the smell of burnt metal and ash. Their grim task was to search the remains of the vehicle. What they found confirmed their worst fears. Inside the charred shell of the car were human remains. The body was severely burned, almost unrecognizable from the intense heat. The remains were located in what would have been the driver's seat. It was a tragic and disturbing discovery. Investigators began the process of identifying the vehicle. Despite the damage, they determined it was a 1999 Chevy Cavalier. Running the vehicle's registration provided the first crucial lead. The car was registered to a couple named Molly and Clayton Daniels. The Daniels family lived in Leander, Texas, a short distance away. They had 2 young children. Police contacted Molly Daniels to inform her about the discovery. She told them her husband Clayton had taken the car. Based on this information and personal items found near the scene, the family made a tentative identification. They believed the body was Clayton Daniels, recognizing a silver chain. The initial assumption was that Clayton had been involved in a tragic accident. Perhaps he had been speeding after drinking and crashed, leading to the fiery outcome. However, as investigators began to look closer, the initial simple explanation started to unravel. Doubts crept in, suggesting this was far more complex than a mere accident. They delved into Clayton Daniels' background. It was revealed that he was a convicted sex offender. His criminal history included a recent conviction for assaulting his 7-year-old cousin. This dark past cast a different light on his potential death. Investigators noted a strange public reaction to the news. There seemed to be an unusual indifference to Clayton's presumed death, likely due to his crimes. This background raised a disturbing possibility. Could this fiery end be an act of revenge from a victim's family or someone else he had harmed? The growing suspicion that foul play might be involved prompted police to dig much deeper. They needed to understand exactly what happened in that valley. The state of the remains presented a significant challenge for forensic scientists. The body was severely burned, reduced to approximately 6 kilograms of bone fragments and ash. There were no visible limbs or a head remaining. Standard identification methods were impossible. To identify the victim, forensic anthropologists planned a mitochondrial DNA test. This specialized test could be performed using a sample from a hip bone fragment. The DNA profile obtained from the remains would then be compared to a known relative. Clayton's mother provided a DNA sample for comparison. However, this complex DNA testing process was not quick. It was expected to take up to 6 months to yield results. While waiting for the DNA, investigators meticulously examined the fire scene itself. They began noticing details that didn't fit the accident theory. Crucially, there were no skid marks leading up to the car's final resting place. This strongly indicated the vehicle had not been traveling at high speed before the fire. The car was gently lodged in the embankment, not violently crashed. It appeared almost as if it had been carefully placed or pushed into position. Another puzzling detail was the car's fuel tank. Despite the intense fire, the tank was found intact, raising questions about how the fire started. Forensic experts examined the vehicle's mechanics. They found no evidence that the fire had originated from the engine, battery, or a ruptured fuel line. There were no signs of an accidental ignition source. Investigators collected debris from the scene, including soil and fragments from the car. These samples were sent for detailed analysis using gas chromatography mass spectrometry. The results of the analysis provided a critical breakthrough. The tests confirmed the presence of charcoal lighter fluid on the debris. This finding was conclusive. The fire had not started accidentally. It had been intentionally set using an accelerant. This was no accident. It was arson. While the forensic investigation was underway, Molly Daniels' behavior raised eyebrows. She seemed to move on remarkably quickly after her husband's presumed death. Within a short period, Molly began dating someone new. This swift transition struck many as unusual given the circumstances. Adding to the suspicion, Molly promptly filed a claim on Clayton's life insurance policy. The policy was worth $100,000. Even Molly's own mother expressed criticism regarding her daughter's actions. The speed and focus on the insurance money seemed inappropriate to some. Then, a major breakthrough occurred, not through police work, but through a family member. Molly's sister became a key witness. Molly's sister visited her house one day, likely concerned about her sibling. What she discovered there was shocking. She saw a man hiding inside a cupboard in Molly's home. It was a deeply unsettling and suspicious sight. The sister confronted Molly about the man she had seen. She demanded an explanation for his presence and why he was concealed. Following this confrontation, the man mysteriously disappeared. His identity and whereabouts became unknown, adding another layer of intrigue to the unfolding events. The combination of the forensic findings and Molly's suspicious behavior led police to a chilling conclusion. They strongly suspected that Clayton Daniels had staged his own death. This new theory opened up a series of critical, unanswered questions that needed immediate investigation. Was Clayton Daniels truly dead? If the body in the car wasn't Clayton, then who was it? Did someone else die in his place as part of a macabre scheme? And perhaps the most pressing question, was Molly Daniels involved in this elaborate and potentially deadly deception? The case had transformed from a presumed accident into something far more sinister. It was clear this was destined to become one of Texas's most twisted forensic mysteries. Check the below link for Part 2 video. Follow, like, subscribe, and press the bell icon for more real crime incidents.